This is the talk show that takes a no-holds-barred approach to politics, where truth and integrity are the standard and the Constitution honored. From Renaissance Studios, this is Champion News Talk Radio.
Good morning and welcome to another great edition of Champion News Talk Radio, brought to you by championnews.net, your choice for the conservative voice. This is Carol Parisi, and today our founder, Jack Roeser, and myself
Thank you.
Have Mary Vanek with us. Jack, how are you this morning?
Well, I'm real fine, but people see me all the time, and I'm just an old goat here. But Mary Vanek is really, I love courageous women, and there is one. And don't hold it against her. She's an attorney.
Thank you, Jack.
But the stuff you've done on your own, pro bono, to expose some of the really egregiously bad financial acts that are going on in so many school districts. And you stepped up and made a real difference here with District 15. And that's in what town?
Palatine Township.
Yeah. Incidentally, I would say you're going after and revealing some of the kind of reprehensible acts in there. It isn't you're just picking on one, because I've been at this thing a long time, trying to reveal the extremely bad management we have throughout the K-12 system. I'd say that the K-12 system is the worst managed organization in the state of Illinois.
Mary, what exactly did you do? I know that you championed a team of moms, pretty much. Was it mostly moms?
Mostly, but not entirely.
Okay.
Just mostly, concerned parents,
Concerned
citizens,
citizens.
even people who didn't have children in the schools.
Well, set the table for our listeners and let them know how that started and what you did.
Well, first a little background, because these things don't happen in a vacuum, and you don't just, come out of the woodwork one day and say, District 15 wants to issue a $27 million working cash bond, so I'm going to fight it.
Okay.
You don't do that.
I don't mean to interrupt you,
Yeah.
but it was a $27 million. Now, what does working cash mean?
Working cash means it can be used for anything.
Slush fund.
Basically, it could be. It could be used for anything. And there's no requirement that it be used for the education fund or for this fund or that fund or building or anything.
So it's not really going to the children.
Well,
per se.
you don't.
It's all going to the children, of course. That's the excuse for it.
Well,
That fund could also be transferred into the education fund.
Yes, it could be used to pay salaries. It could be used. It's possible that it could have been used to do building repairs. That's possible, but.
It wasn't allocated specifically.
It was not allocated, and there was no requirement that it be allocated. And if you truly wanted to do building, you could issue a separate kind of bond that's just dedicated to building. But in any event, just the background basically is that about 2 years ago in 2010, the District 15 School Board voted to issue this $27 million working cash bond, which although it wouldn't directly immediately increase your property taxes, what it would have done is, instead of having a certain amount of the debt that the district owed retiring at a certain time, that debt would just continue to go on, so the tax rate would not decrease because the debt was being retired. It would be kept at the level that it is, which is sort of like an example how there are no temporary taxes. Once a tax is instituted, it never goes away, right? I mean, we'll figure out a way to keep it going. You're used to the pain, so just keep it at that level and keep it going. My friend Lisa actually called me up and told me that this was happening, and I was like, oh man, this is not good. So, she's like, you got to do something about it. I'm like, well, what do you want me to do? Lisa and I had run for school board together in 2007, and we did not get elected, but we stayed involved and stayed up to date with what was going on in the district. So once we heard about it, I said, well, I guess we need to figure out what we need to do to stop it. I looked into it. In some ways, it's handy to be a lawyer because at least where to start looking, to find out what the law is and what the procedure is. Too. Right, even though I'm not an election lawyer and would have to go out and hire one of those eventually. But basically, I had a blog because I had been blogging in the 2009 school board election, I was blogging. So I already had a blog, and I already had a little tiny blog following.
Okay.
So when I blogged about the $27 million bond issue, and I said, hey, people, who's willing to help out, there was just an incredible response. And all these other people who also had been like me, going to school board meetings, previous school board candidates who didn't get elected, people who were just interested in what was going on in District 15. Everybody just came out of the woodwork, and they said, let's all work together. So we did. We pooled our talents and our resources, and we worked together. And I mean, it was totally a team effort. I mean, the fact that I'm sitting here is kind of a joke, because I did some stuff, but I was not the one standing out in the rain at the post office.
Mary, don't be so humble. I was at your house, and I saw your dining room table, and the process that you put together.
The suspense is killing me. Did you stop the referendum?
Yes, we did.
Wait, but it's a whole story, because first, let's talk about this, because first you only had 30 days.
Well, we had 30 days to get 6,330 signatures, which represented 10%.
This was a backdoor referendum, wasn't it?
Yeah, it is a backdoor referendum.
Oh, people should know about this.
Yeah. It's people don't know about it, because by the time they figure out that the school board or other public entity has pushed a measure through that they would prefer to have on a referendum, on a ballot in November or whenever, by the time they figure out they've only got 30 days to get how many thousands of signatures. Usually most of your 30 days is up. But because...
Let me interrupt you. That struck me as a very unjust thing many years ago. Oh, I'd say close to 20. And I realized that 30 days is not enough to actually find out what these rascals are doing, because they don't tell anybody until they get their plans well along. And you might be a week or two into the 30 days before you realize, my God, they're going for this immense amount of money. So you really don't have enough time to organize in 30 days. So I went downstate and appeared in front of the primary and secondary thing and gave testimony and asked that they extend it to 90 days. Well, they damn near tarred and feather me. Not congressman, but the Representative Black from down a little south of here. He got so damn mad at me, he screamed at me and left the room. Unbelievable. So they tarred and feathered me and threw me out. I didn't get anywhere with that. But you took that 30 days and actually beat those guys. That's remarkable.
Do you think that's by design, though, that they knew that it was almost and you were told this was an impossible feat, weren't you told this was impossible?
I was told it would be extremely difficult, and I never, I had my doubts. I have to admit it, but the 30-day thing, that's all there to just preserve the status quo. They want to make it as difficult as possible to challenge the people who are already in elected office. So you have to have a little bit of advance warning that they're going to vote on this. So I found out about it beforehand. And then immediately, as soon as the petition form was posted that the district prepares, that they're required by law to prepare the petition form, the petition pages, they're required to do that. So as soon as they had that posted, we were downloading them and copying them. Now, it's funny, because the law says that the public entity, whether it's a school district or whatever, cannot object to the form of the petition that you've taken around and had thousands of people sign. And guess what? When it came right down to it, they objected to the form of our petition.
And that was their petition.
And it was their form, right.
So you won that. You won that little battle.
That argument, right.
Mary, can you take a moment and just explain to the viewers that may not understand what the back door is, and then also answer this. Is that something that every school district has the opportunity to use?
Yeah, some people, the backdoor referendum is sometimes a misunderstood or a misnomer. The process of the school board voting on entering into this debt obligation is something that they're allowed to do by law, but it's the type of action that can also be countered if enough voters sign a petition and say, we, the people, want to have this issue put on the ballot in November, okay? And if you get enough people to sign the petition, then basically what you have done is you have created a backdoor referendum, because instead of the school board saying, let's put this on the referendum in November, they're saying, we're just going to do it.
We're just going to do it.
So what the people do and the citizens do is they actually place it on the referendum in November, which is the back door.
By them doing that, though, isn't that usurping the will of the people? Isn't that taking the power away from the voting public to say, you know what, we don't need this right now. We don't want this right now. Let's look under and see what, isn't that?
You're right. The time is, there isn't time for ordinary people to find out what's going on, because this is all tricky and complicated. And to find out that something's wrong and start doing something about it, it's very difficult.
Well, I think it's important that elected officials and public bodies have to be able to do the jobs that they were elected to do. They have to be able to make decisions about finances. They have to be able to borrow money if they need to borrow money and that type of thing. If every single financial decision that they wanted to make had to be put to a vote of the people, they would never get anything done.
You know what? We're going to talk about that when we come back.